block with the buff chest, out the wilderness with the ruggedness. I was born by myself, I don't need a posse, I get it on by myself. Adversaries get shelved.
I find it absolutely hilarious that homosexuals would drop their moral standards to the level of the animal kingdom in order to justify this filthy lifestyle, this immoral lifestyle, this physically and mentally dangerous lifestyle. They want to compare themselves to the animal kingdom, but they get upset and mad and offended when you bring up the bestiality, or you compare them with that. But the argument that people use is that when it comes to bestiality, that there is no consenting adults because the animals can't consent to a legal contract. Well, they may not be able to sign their name in writing, but as this video shows, it looks like the animals are consenting to me. And people, you can find hundreds among hundreds of other videos just like this, doing a simple search, and you will see that animals, just like you're about to hear, this is based off of confusion of instinct. This has nothing to do with homosexuality. Hence, the dog is trying to hump a human, not another dog, let alone another dog of the same sex. It's just pathetic that they try to use this argument. We can also take a look at the natural argument and see that it holds no water whatsoever, seeing as how 90 to 100% of studies are done with animals that are in captivity, which debunks the definition of natural, which I may add is the material world, especially as surrounding humankind, as existing independently of human activities. Also, the natural world as it exists without human beings or civilization. And this is backed up with the book Biological Exuberance, Animal Homosexuality and Natural Diversity. Here's a quote from that source. It says, "Any account of homosexuality and transgender animals is also necessarily an account of human interpretation of these phenomena. We are in the dark about the internal experience of the animal participants. As a result, the biases and limitations of the human observer in both the gathering and interpretation of data come to the forefront in this situation. With people, we can't often speak directly to individuals or read written accounts. With animals, in contrast, we can often directly observe their sexual and allied behaviors, but only infer or interpret their meanings and motivations. So with humans, we can gather and ask and stuff like that. But with animals, we have to assume and assert. And that's the whole failure in this entire thing." The next source is of a study done on flower beetles where theories were created, such as some researchers suggested that male animals need to practice breeding as much as they can before meeting females. Others argue that males need to get rid of old sperm, or less effective sperm, before they encounter females. Some scientists have even asserted that homosexual behavior is a method of exerting social dominance over other males. This has been confirmed in other cases, such as the prison system, even though some, not all, but some men come out still only wanting men or bisexual. So out of these theories, what stood out the most was that males were dribbling sperm onto others. This suggested that males might be trying to get rid of old sperm, lining up fresher sperm for their next female encounter. The team also found that if one male leaked semen on another male and the semen-covered male later bred with a female, the female's eggs could become fertilized with the sperm of the male she had never encountered. Now, I'm going to post the source so you can read the whole thing. I just pulled out what I looked at seemed contradictory to the whole post. To me, the thing is self-contradicting and self-refuting. So I clipped out all the things where they made the claim that these insects were homosexual because it's an assertion just like the quote from Biological Exuberance stated. And all this stuff that I just said will justify the following. Enjoy. Homosexuality is biologically unnatural and does not occur in nature. Dreamshade and I both have already closed the case, but let's reopen it. By all means, let's open it right back up so we can close it back again. Animals lack advanced logic, reasoning, and morals. They eat their young. They kill their pack leader to take his position. They commit acceptable rape and murder. I dare you to commit one of these acts tomorrow. We'll see what happens to you. Now, a male animal may rape another male animal to show dominance. Sometimes with dogs, if a male smells a female in heat, he'll hump another dog, and sometimes a human, or humans like your leg or something. Therefore, it is not homosexuality in the animal kingdom. Also, there was an observation done in a zoo where 5 female koalas were humping each other because the captivity they were in, they had no want for male koala. Animals run on pure instinct, unlike we as humans. Animals don't feel love like we as humans do. The so-called homosexual activity is not a lifetime event, yet an isolated event from a cause was an effect. They are heterosexual, and their desire to reproduce is never overridden. That being said, love goes beyond sex and into family and friends. It is obvious animals have social skills. However, what we're saying is that they lack the ability to reason and use logic to the capacity that we do. What's the latest animal you've seen that could do more than reproduce, get food, and build anything other than a home? You haven't. On that note, unlike the animal kingdom, God has blessed us with spiritual gifts such as wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude or courage, knowledge, piety, and fear of the Lord. So that just backs up what I have to say. We're animals by the fact that we're mammals. But unlike the rest of the animal kingdom, we are different than they are. Animals don't get artificial insemination. The animals themselves will reproduce. Tell me, when does an animal have artificial insemination or take another's child in? There is a specific lizard that reproduces externally through pathogenesis because the male population has been erased and thus can't reproduce sexually. However, they must be stimulated sexually, and how does this happen without a male population? The reason these lizards act this way is due to their hormonal cycles, which cause some to act as males when levels of estrogen are low, and others to take the role of a female when estrogen levels are high. Lizards that act out the courtship ritual have a greater chance than those kept in isolation on account of the increase in hormones that accompanies the fake sex. This is a survival tactic, not a homosexual behavior, because it is not a lifelong commitment requiring love like homosexuals claim to have for each other, therefore nullifying that argument. Now, that being said, a woman with lower estrogen levels is not automatically a lesbian, yet can be tomboyish but heterosexual. And a male with low testosterone levels may be a little more feminine, yet not a homosexual, thus destroying the link of homosexuality to those lizards. Also, the hormonal study does not explain lesbianism since it deals with the mother's estrogen acting as antigens against the boy's Y chromosome, giving him feminine characteristics. Animals don't have sex for pleasure, they do it for reproduction. A female dog in heat may hump another female dog. It's not homosexuality, it's confusion of instinct. There is also a certain lizard that has 2 penises and has to stimulate one while the other is in the female so he can quickly get his seed in the female before being knocked off by another male. These actions are all survival tactics, not basic morals that should be exhibited in humans. And now, even if there were homosexual animals, it is still biologically unnatural, hence there would be an anatomical design for the lifestyle if it was in fact genetic. But on the contrary, if it is in fact genetic, it must be a genetic error, like missing a limb and being a hermaphrodite. There can't be one gene that is a homosexual or heterosexual gene because we would have found it already. Hence, the gene for left-handedness is LRRTM1. It must then either be polygenic, which we haven't even scratched the surface of yet, or psychological, which environment and early life trauma has proven to be of assistance. Now I can't believe I even had to waste time making that video. This is Crazy 316, I'm out. I can't believe I had to do this crap.